Good morning, dear teacher, Nancy Ludeña again. In this opportunity, I am going to explain my second lesson plan. Has the title, The Forecast. So, in this case, introduce the topic first of all with some objectives for listening, speaking, writing, and reading skills. In the first part, students will be able to use the report speech to talk about what was stated in the news. The reading part, they will be able to understand articles found in the different sections of newspaper. Also, they will be able to listen to and understand short new programs and pieces of news. And finally, in the writing part, students will be able to interview a partner and write his or her report, but in reported speech. As you know, the methodology is very important and also the strategy. So in this case, communicative language teaching is the main methodology and scaffolding. That's very important because students can recognize some knowledge, some previous knowledge, and increment in the new knowledge. As strategies, students work in whole group for conversation and ask and answer questions with the teacher, of course, and in independent practice in pair work, especially in order to work in the worksheet. Teacher introduced the topic about the weather. Students remember the season and the different kind of weather according each season. And for example, in this case, can you see the summer, spring, winter, and fall? Maybe teacher can introduce how is the weather in summer? Students could answer in summer, the weather is sunny and hot. Or what about in spring? In spring, the weather is rainy. What about in fall? In fall is windy. And in winter is cold and snowy. Something like that, maybe to remember then the previous knowledge about the weather and season, of course. Following to that, a teacher introduced the topic, the theme on the board, but asking some questions students before. How is the weather in our country? In our country, generally, we have only two seasons. It's summer and winter. So what is the weather in the coast region? In the coast region, the weather is hot and sunny. And what about in Amazon region? Maybe in this case, the weather is rainy and hot, and so on. After that, teacher shows some image of newspaper like that, and try to infer to students what are the main sections on a newspaper. Maybe they say horoscopy, sports, local news, classifying news, and so on. That is the opportunity to ask students open their student book and complete the vocabulary test. In this case, they are going to listen and complete the extract from a newspaper with words in the word bank. And after that, then write the section in each extract. In this case, you have local news, sports, weather, and financial sections, and they are going to complete with the World Bank, earthquake forecast, official estimate, and recession, according to the contents and comprehension vocabulary. After that, students replace the italicized word with a synonym or phrase from the above World Bank. In this case, they have to predict what is the phrase is about and complete with the correct word bank or the correct word of the vocabulary they did in the exercise before. Then, students listen again to new presenters reading the early morning news, and they have to match each logo with the new mentioned. And after that, they are going to complete the grammar book on the next page. So in this case, as you can see, they have some titles of the newspaper. For example, The Guardian, the New York Times, and etc. So they are going to listen which newspaper said H new. As I say before, that is very important to reflect in grammar. In this part, teacher explain what is a reported speech and what are the structure, following according each tense. So explain the original statement, for example, in this case, in simple present, this tense to reported statement will change into simple past. The forecast predicts, taking into account the students, they predict in simple present, low temperatures and heavy rain tomorrow. And in reported statement, the age say that the forecast predicted low temperatures and heavy rain next day. Okay, so don't forget, remind students have to write say that, and the other part of the sentences is with past simple because in the original statement it was in simple present, and when you report the statement you have to change the tense verb into past. Another way or another tense from simple past, they are going to report in past perfect. Fireman rescued two tourists after they drove the car into a lake. The verb is in past simple, and they are going to change in past perfect. The guardian say that fireman had rescued past perfect two tourists after they drove the car into a lake. And so on with present perfect to past perfect too, and with future, with will, they are going to change with goal. In this case, for example, will have and would have. The students take into account how the main verb tense change from the original statement to the reported statement. We reported speech, the word that is optional after say, mentioned, stated, or told. With the help of the grammar chart, students modeling some sentences with students. In this case, for example, this teacher can write as a sentence in present simple or in past simple, and students have to translate into reported speech. Look at this example. The police officer, we have caught the thief. Okay, so teacher have to ask students what is the tense of the sentence in this case. What is the tense of the verb in this case? Oh, students would say the tense of the sentence is in present perfect. Okay, look at the present perfect. In this case, she has writing three letters for her friends. What it say? What is the reported speech tense? She had written. Okay, so in this case, how caught into past perfect, the police office say that they had caught. Okay, that is a good moment to remember students the structure of the present perfect and the past perfect, especially in the concern of the verb to have. After that, in the guided practice, in pairs, students interview a partner and write his or her answer in reported speech. So for example, do you prefer to read a newspaper or watch the TVs on television? And students report in speaking in oral way, and after that they are going to write the answers too. But first of all, reporting oral way. He said that he prepared to read, in this case is the same verb, to read the newspaper, to read the news in the newspaper. Or maybe she preferred to to watch on TV, to watch the news on TV. And so on with our next question. Remember the answers will vary according to the opinion of each student. As I said before, first of all, students with the guide of the teacher, they are going to express their partner's opinion. And after that, they can write their answer using the correct structure in reported speech. For independent practice, I will give the students a worksheet like that. And in this case, they complete it in pairs. And after that, with such as a part of assessment, teacher review the answer with the students and correct some mistakes and given the correct feedback. In closing, review and following up, teacher briefly explain a little more about the structure of the reported speech and how the tenses change with the original statements and in the reported statements. And send for homework in the workbook some pages for remember the vocabulary and for remember the structures of the reported speech. Okay, so that is all for today. Thank you so much.